Forget you can listen to good things. We are streaming live over at supertalk.fm. We're also streaming from that SuperTalk Mississippi app and your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. And don't forget to, you can watch us. So we are on your computer, your mobile device. You'll see I got friends in the studio with me today. That always makes me so happy. Joining us is Roy Holder. He is the 2024 Volunteer of the Year for the National Log a Load for Kids Foundation. How cool is that? Along with David Livingston, he's the Executive Director of Mississippi Loggers Association. And I think it's cool that we've been recognized on that for such a good thing. So welcome to you both.
Thank you.
All right, so let's start with David, because I know, Roy, you are with. David, how is the Mississippi Loggers Association connected with Log a Load for Kids Foundation?
Okay, the Log a Loads for Kids Foundation is a department of the Children's Miracle Network hospitals, and the Mississippi Loggers is a state sponsor for the Log a Load for Kids program in the state. We started our chapter in 1993. Since that time, in Mississippi, we've raised $2,315,425 for the Children's Hospital. We also have a 10-room neonatal care unit in the new wing of the hospital that is the Mississippi Loggers Association's room for those children. So nationwide, we've done over $60 million for the Children's Miracle Network hospitals across the nation. So Mississippi Loggers Association's Log a Load for Kids campaign is the number 2 donor, corporate donor, only behind Walmart.
Woo woo! So, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So we have a host of different events through the year to help raise money for that. And of course, Roy has been a mainstay for us in helping us be able to do that. He's been helping us for 20 years or better now at different auctions across the state and different functions. And it's been a blessing to have him on board and have the same passion that we all share and that our industry shares for the children, and which makes that possible for us to raise that kind of money for our one and only children's hospital here in the state of Mississippi.
We're thankful for Walmart, but we're coming after them, David.
Absolutely.
That's right.
I will be here to help you with it for sure. Okay, so Roy, so you're not a logger. So how are you in the industry?
So I've worked for various timber companies in the past. I've been in it for 20 years. Worked for different companies. Got involved with this, like David said, about 20 years ago. I'm an auctioneer. My dad was an auctioneer. It's just something I've been around my whole life. And I got my license about 20 years ago, and doing various auctions back home to help cancer patients in the community. Just anybody that needs a fundraiser, it's a family thing. Me, my wife Carmen, my brother Mark, he's an auctioneer. His wife Leslie, we kind of a traveling family team of auctioneers to help those that are in need, and got hooked up with Mr. David years back, and been proud to be a part of such a good charity. We know where this money's going. It's all going to the kids. Just proud to be a part of it. And whenever he calls and says, hey, we got an auction, we need you, we're there, and just blessed to be a part of it. And recently got invited, David, 2 years ago to go out to Branson, Missouri on a national level to get involved, helping raise money there. So then they invited me from there to Maine. So I thought that was pretty neat for an old guy from Mississippi to get invited to go to Maine to auction. So got to do that. Then was selected and nominated and selected as the Volunteer of the Year, which allowed me to go to California.
And that's where you both just got back from California last week.
Yes.
And so what kind of events or things did you guys enjoy out there?
Oh, we had our American Loggers Council had its annual meeting there, so we had a host of different activities involved with that. We've seen everything from a wood-burning power generating facility that is very interesting to us, that we hope that we can bring that technology here soon. We've seen a remote control skidder with no operator. We were in Sonora, California, and the guy that was operating it was north of San Francisco. Completely manless. So that technology is coming on. So we got to see some cool things there, as well as get to take in some of the sights as the giant redwoods and the giant sequoias and different things.
Oh, that's on my bucket list.
Oh, you need to go.
You got to go.
Because like you see the photos and you think that looks like a big tree, but I can only imagine that you can't fully grasp it until
absolutely
you are
not.
absolutely like standing and sort of in front of it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes, very pretty country.
As you
out there.
mentioned, before Good Things, David, that you guys are the original tree huggers. Did y'all hug the big sequoia?
I actually did.
I was like, I would absolutely I would have to see like my circumference.
Yes,
rate,
at that
sort of.
moment I became a tree hugger.
That was quite a sight to behold for sure, especially for old timber buyer logger as myself. You know, I have to admit. I wanted to have a chainsaw just to hear one of them hit the ground.
Yeah, loud. That would probably be. You can do that in another lifetime, David. That's an intrusive thought. Keep that to yourself. No.
Yeah, maybe I can go out there on one of those cleanup details with a forest fire and cut one down that's dead. So.
There you go, sort of, and hear it that way.
That's
but
right.
but no, they are beautiful. I think it's cool
They
that you
are.
got the opportunity, Roy, to go out there. But you also worked a little, right? Because you were showing me pictures of a chainsaw.
Yeah.
Was that from this past trip?
That was from this past trip, yes.
So give us a little backstory about that.
So, like I said before, I was asked to go to California to get the award that they so graciously give me. But while I was out there, I got to auction, like I said, over in Maine on the East Coast. So now I'm on the West Coast, and I asked them, I said, I know y'all didn't ask me to come and auction. Y'all was going to give me an award, but would y'all please let me auction one item to say I auctioned from coast to coast? They said, sure.
Oh, cool.
So I picked a chainsaw as the item to sell. And we sold this chainsaw.
Now
and,
describe the chainsaw.
Okay, it's just a standard chainsaw
Okay.
you can buy anywhere locally. You know, probably worth $300-400.
Mm.
And that's what's so cool about these items. The people don't look at what it's worth; they look at what it's going for. And the people are so generous. All of our loggers, they all get together and have big hearts, and they open their pocketbooks at these sales. So, but this particular saw, I sold it for $7,000. And then the guy that bought it said, hey, I want to donate it back. So I would sell it again and sell it again. I kept doing this until eventually the saw bought $28,200 over the amount of times I sold it. So, and they kind of nicknamed me, Sell It Again Mississippi. So
Does that money go into Mississippi's account for what they've raised? Not even if it doesn't. It's like can we try to beat Walmart?
Yeah, right. No, and when we have the national event, whichever state that is in is where that money will go to. But when they come to Mississippi in a few years, we'll have a big auction here, and of course, Roy will be our auctioneer, and we'll raise that 100 and something thousand for our hospital here. So. It'll be a few years before our now current board member makes it up the chain and makes it to the president of the American Loggers Council, Brian Smith. So when he gets there, we'll be hosting it here in Mississippi.
It's still a pretty cool story, though, Roy. And I'm sure the atmosphere was just off the charts. So,
it was, yeah.
I mean, because you, I guess, were expecting just, a couple $100 over asking cost or just whatever to sort of say.
Well, I knew it would probably do pretty good, but not that good. I didn't realize they would sell it again that
Did the
many
last
times.
person actually keep the chainsaw, or is
He
it
did.
still? Okay. It's almost like, what is it?
I think he bought it 3 times, though. So.
It's kind of like that white elephant party, and for Christmas, it's like people keep bringing back. It's like you want that particular chainsaw to keep being brought back the next year to see if it to sort of had a little good luck.
The energy level was high, and it was a lot of fun. And I put a little comedy into my routine in auctioning. They say happy people spend money, so I want to keep them happy and get them involved. And it was a good show.
It was a good show, and now you're back. So, David, do you guys just go back into your everyday lives, and then there's these events for Log a Load, or is there something continuously going in terms of donations or raising for Mississippi's Log a Load Foundation portion?
Yes, we have 5 different districts across the state, and each district hosts a different fundraiser. 3 of them currently are doing live auctions. And then when we have our annual meeting or a special event, Roy will come and auction off some high-ticket items like fishing, go fishing trips and all. We're getting ready to do a safari hunt.
Oh, that's a
that's
big
been
one.
donated that we've been contacted on. So we're getting ready to do that. We're looking at possibly doing a statewide golf tournament and stuff. So we do a host of different things throughout the year. We also, on our website at www.msloggers.org, there's a Log a Load for Kids button that you can, if you just want to go and you want to donate to the cause and everything.
So we can beat Walmart. That needs to be your.
That's it. Beat
That's our
Walmart.
goal.
Beat Walmart. But our goal is to stick with us because we got more with David and Roy coming up next. Don't forget about watching us on SuperTalk TV, which you can find us on your computer or your mobile device. We're continuing our conversation with David Livingston, the executive director for Mississippi Loggers Association, and Roy, who's one of the auctioneers for them, and he's the 2024 Volunteer of the Year for the National Log a Load for Kids Foundation. But David, I want to talk about just the good work that the Mississippi loggers do, and obviously the work that the Loggers Association does, because I think it's one of those industries we all know somebody who works in either forestry or logging, but I don't feel like we talk about the good stuff enough about what you guys do.
Yes, we're part of the number two. Most of the time, number two. We were number three last year behind cotton industry in the state of Mississippi. We're a huge industry that people don't realize the economic impact that we have on the state each year is over $13 billion a year. So, we provide a lot of jobs. We provide a lot of services and everything to the landowners of the state of Mississippi to help them manage their forests, to keep them healthy, to prevent the sort of things that happen like out in California with the catastrophic wildfires because of all the fuel in the woods. We're able to get that out of there. We were at an event yesterday with the governor, lieutenant governor, Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith, Senator Roger Wicker, and Congressman Benny Thompson on a ribbon cutting on a new facility down in Gloucester, Mississippi. And that's the kind of investment that people don't realize is that timber money stays in Mississippi for the most part. It doesn't leave. It affects the communities in a profound way. In that same town of Gloucester, back in 2009, I believe it was, 2008, somewhere right around in there, Georgia Pacific had a big plywood mill down there that had been down there for years, and they shut it down. At that time, they had a Ford dealership down there. They had a Chevrolet dealership. I mean, they had all kinds of buzzing little community, but when that mill shut down, the town shut down, and it's good to see that growth coming back. And we've got a lot of new development coming up in the Golden Triangle area with the biochar plant that's coming in there, SDI. We've got Huber Engineered Woods that's coming in with an OSB plant down around Sugarlock. We've got new pellet plants coming in. We're trying to promote the use of those pellet plants to help kind of offset the loss of the paper market, to help communities around. And we often get asked by people who are looking to come to Mississippi, they're not familiar with it. Well, where's a good location? I said, well, just put on a blindfold and take a dart and throw it at the state of Mississippi. And as long as you don't land in the Delta, you're going to be really good. And if you're in the Delta, we'll log there too. So
You meant for logging, yeah.
yeah.
So we have, a lot of
We've
kids.
got plenty of wood here.
Yeah, well, we got plenty of kids who they may be on fall break, but usually in car line during this time, David. And it's in terms of like logging or that forestry industry. Is that like a vocational industry? Is that like a kid gets out and decides who would make the perfect fit to like graduate high school or college and like come into the forestry industry?
Right. Well, there's several different avenues. It's just such a broad field. You can go to school and get your technician's degree at a 2-year college. We have several of them around the state that have that degree course. Then you have the 4-year degree course, which you can go to Mississippi State, and of course you can then get your master's and everything. They have one of the top programs in the state. I don't think they have a graduate that leaves there that's not being hired. So you got that right. But then we also have the Logger Equipment Operator Academy at Hines Community College. We're trying to get up and running and off the ground, and we're starting to get some national recognition on it, and probably start having some students come in from out of state to go to that academy to learn the logging industry and the logging part of it, and how that is. So there's many different facets. You get into the forestry part of it. You got the wildlife branch that you can go down, because a lot of people don't realize that without forest management, you can't have good wildlife management. They go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. So it's very important that you got good stewards and good managers of the forest to make sure you got good wildlife. So you got that route that you can go. The other part of it is the technology and everything that's in it. One of the big things now is cross-laminated timber buildings, and those are the multi-story buildings, high-rises that they're building out of structured wood panels. And There's a lot of technology and new development in that. Even in Oregon and places like that, they're building some mass timber buildings, is what they're called, and they're multi-level high rises instead of using steel and concrete. So a lot of technology there that's related to the wood industry. So the field is wide open. A lot of people don't realize drones are big in our industry now. The technology in our machines and being able to diagnose those machines, everything, they're just like a giant rolling computer, just like our cars are now. So that field from our equipment dealers and everything, they need technological minds
to be able to run.
That's right. So it's a huge
opportunity
industry
that I think more students need to know about. I mean, in terms of opportunity, if that's an area they want to go, or if they can talk real fast. Apparently, auctioneering can be part of the logging industry too. So, are you? I know you auctioneer for the logging, but do you also do that for other places, or are you sort of just they keep you that busy?
Well, auctioning is a side hustle, so to speak, for me. Like I said, my dad was in it for years ago, and I just followed along his footsteps, watched him auction, started loving it, went and got my license. But I make my living in the timber industry. Like David said, I got started out at Greene County High School. We had a great forestry VOTEC there, and that got me interested in forestry. Then went from there to Jones Junior College, and then from there to Mississippi State, and worked in the industry since. But like I said, the auctioning was something that I started at a young age with my dad, got my license.
Was your dad auction for timber too, or is he more?
No, he was just, we had like antique auctions and stuff we done, some equipment auctions, and my dad was always involved with community type auctions to benefit people with cancer or whatever, so we would do those on small levels. And then over years, the auctions got bigger and bigger to help people in need, and it turned into a family event that we would go around and do these, and then got involved with Log a Load and just went from there, and just glad to be a part of this great charity. And
do you remember your first auction that you were the auctioneer?
I think the first time I auctioned was at an equipment auction at my dad's place on 98 out of New Augusta years ago. And I actually was not a licensed auctioneer at that time, but my dad had to go to the bathroom, and I stepped in as the auctioneer. That was my first auction. And
was it scary up there? I would be keeping up with all of it.
No, it's not too scary. I mean, your adrenaline will be pumping, especially.
Do you get to choose how high things like jump, or is that already pre-planned?
Well, you kind of know what you're selling, you know what it's worth, and you kind of start out about what you think it's worth and then go from there. And a lot of times you'll start out with something that's worth $500. You might get down to $50 before people bid, and then you get it back to usually what it's worth, or hopefully a little bit more. And a benefit auction is totally different than auctioning for something that's like at an antique sale or an equipment sale. It's going to bring about what it's worth, but these benefit auctions, you could sell a cake for $1,000.
Right. I'm curious the licensing part. Like, what makes you a professional? Talk faster.
Well, you got to go to an accredited school, auctioneering school, to get your license, and you have to stay bonded. So if you want to do charity type auctions, you can do that without a license.
Would that be because, like, in case you auction something and they didn't pay, do you have to pay for that?
Well, you're responsible.
Really?
And there's avenues to take care of that, but knock on wood.
No, it
hasn't happened,
just so interesting. You're my first auctioneer to ever meet in person.
Well, you will have to come to one of our events.
Absolutely.
And that's the great thing about this Log a Load for Kids. You don't have to be in the logging industry to donate. When we have these events, everybody's welcome to come, and we encourage, the community that these are held in. We want everybody to show up.
David, when's the next one?
Participate.
October the 26th, Saturday, October the 26th, in Petal, Mississippi, at the Catfish Wagon. The Southeast District will be holding their annual auction down there, and it ought to be a great time. So we're going to try to set a record down there, and
anyone in the area.
Do you need to buy a ticket or anything to come?
Absolutely no cost. It's no cost to anybody that comes. They can come.
Do you get a paddle, or do you just raise your hand?
We'll supply you a bid number.
Oh.
We'll make sure that you
Tell
get
I've never
recognized.
been. I've just seen it on the movies.
I tell people back home at an auction, if you've never been to an auction, don't know how it works, just raise your hand and I'll teach you all about it.
That's one of his famous things. He gets them with it every time. If he sees a hand goes up, he gets them. So.
Well, I love that, and that all came down to you being the 2024 again Volunteer of the Year for the National Log a Load for Kids Foundation, and we're going to have to catch back up next year because our goal was for Mississippi Loggers Association to move from the number 2 spot for the organization and take Walmart as the number 1 spot.
Exactly.
And I
We
think
need everybody's help, so y'all help us
we
out.
can do it. I feel like we can. So y'all have to come back and tell us how it went.
Right, and they can contact us at our office at 601-203-2721 and talk to Donna. She can get you fixed up.
Well, I love that. I appreciate both of your times and what you guys are doing. I feel like this is first of many, so I appreciate it. And you guys stick with us. We got more for you coming up next.